So for today, we're going to look at solving inequations. Just the same, but the subtopic is
Sir, the
inequation
money was late.
containing subtraction, right? So the
Sir.
first example that we're going to look on is example 1 that says x minus 5 is less than 1, right? And in this inequation, it is made up of 3 terms, right? And I'm going to label each terms for you because I don't want anybody to have any misconception. So the first term is what we call a variable. So I'm going to put V for variable. So X is the variable. The second term is what we call a constant. I'm going to put C for constant. And the third term is what we call a constant. So what is the objective in solving this inequality? The objective is to group the constant on one side of the inequation symbol and then simplify. What you want to do is to have the variable by itself at all given times. So when you achieve that, you basically solve the problem. Now, there's just 2 steps to these kind of problems here that we have. And I'm going to walk you through them really quick. So when you observe, we're dealing with problems containing subtraction. So it means that this constant, which is minus 5, we don't want it beside the variable, which is x. Now, how can we transfer this minus 5 to the other side? We can do that by doing the opposite operation. So the first thing that we would do is to add 5 to both sides. That is step 1. After adding 5 to both sides, how would your inequation look? This is how you would write it. So here, you would end up with x minus 5 plus 5 is less than 1 plus 5, right? This 5 was supposed to be in red. It seems like I overlooked it. Just for color code for you to fully understand. After you have done that step, what are you going to do? The next step that you are going to do is to simplify what you wrote here, right? So you're going to simplify. That is step 2. After you simplify, you're basically finished because that will give you the solution. So if you notice here, minus 5 plus 5 will be 0, and 0 plus x will still give us x, and 1 plus 5 will give us 6. So therefore, our solution is going to be x less than 6. So that is our solution. But for some time, when you are given an exam or a test, they will also ask you to represent your solution as a solution set and also represent your solution on a number line. So this is how you would actually represent your solution as a solution set, where the curly brackets here means the set of these 2 dots means such that, so for those who are new, please write it down. So let me read it for you. Starting from the curly bracket, you would say the set of all x's such that x is less than 6. What is this saying? This is saying that this inequality or inequation has more than one solution. So when you are solving equation, you only have one solution. But this inequation can take on many values, and it can take on all the values that is less than 6. So that means we can represent our answer on a solution and a number line, sorry. And let me show you how you would represent your solution on a number line. So the first thing that you would need to do is to find where 6 is on a number line, because it says x is less than 6. So here, this is 6 on my number line. This stroke represents 6. What you're going to do, you're going to draw what is called an open circle above 6, like this one. An open circle is just a circle that is not shaded. Then the next thing you need to do is to determine whether you're going to draw an arrow to the left or to the right of that 0. Now, how do you know which direction to put the arrow? Let's reread our solution. It says x is less than 6. Let's look at our number line and name some numbers that are less than 6. 5 is less than 6. 4 is less than 6. 3 is less than 6. 2, 1, 0, -1, and so on. So notice I am going towards the left. That means your arrow should draw towards the left. So you're going to put on your arrow going towards the left, just like that. And this would be how you represent x is less than 6 on a number line. Let's look at example 2. So example 2, what we're going to have here is that we have x minus 2 is less than or equal to 3. Now, the principle remains the same. So you can, let me label them again for persons to fully understand. So again, we have a variable. We have a constant term here, and we have another constant term. So we want to group the constant term on one side. They are on both sides based on how this question is at the moment. But our objective is to group them on one side and simplify. So we want to have the variable by itself. Once that happens, you solve the problem. Now, we have a -2 here. So if we want to transfer this -2 to the other side, we're always going to do the opposite operation, right? So in the first step that we're going to do is step 1, which is to add 2 to both sides. And note, I put some little pointers because at the end of the day, I want you to fully understand this. Algebra is if you are weak at algebra, let me just say this, your math will be weak overall. Algebra is in everything. So how would you write that after you add 2 to both sides? Just write back what you have and put +2. So again, here what you would end up with is just x minus 2 plus 2 is less than or equal to 3 plus 2. At this stage, what are you going to do? Which is a step 2, which is to simplify, right? When you simplify, that will give you your solution. As you notice here, -2 plus 2 is 0, and 0 plus x will give you x. So you have the variable by itself. And 3 plus 2 is going to equal to 5. So our solution here is just x is less than or equal to 5. Now we can represent our answer as a solution set. And it is easy. The pattern does not change. So it is the same thing. Use 2 curly brackets, put a x to represent all the values of x, put 2 dots to represent such that, and then you put this part as the solution down here. And if you're asked to read it, it is the set of all x's or all values of x such that x is less than or equal to 5. Now, when you have a stroke underneath the symbol, what it means that whatever number that comes after the symbol is a part of the solution. So when you are asked to represent that on a number line, you use what is called a closed circle. What is a closed circle? It is just a circle that is shaded, right? So again, we're going to find 5 on our number line. So note here, this stroke represents 5. So above 5, right? Above 5, I have 10 minutes to go. So above 5, what we're going to do, we're going to place a shaded circle. And that's it. So note the difference. This one is open over here. This one is shaded. Now I need to decide the direction. Now it says less than or equal to 5. So 5 is equal to 5. That's true. What is one number that is less than 5? 4 is less than 5. 3 is less than 5. 2 is less than 5. Notice I am going towards the negative side. In other words, I am moving towards the left. It means that the arrow from that closed circle should be drawn to the left. And that is how you represent it. So let me draw my arrow to the left. That's it. So that is how you would represent your solution there. Everybody is with me so far?
Yes, sir.
Example 3. We're given x minus 3 is greater than 4. Again, you know that x is the variable. Minus 3 is going to be a constant, and 4 is a constant. But for those who don't know, don't take things for granted and let me just label them. So the x is the variable, this minus 3 is the constant, and this 4 is a constant. What is the objective? We want the variable by itself. So we're going to manipulate this to get the variable by itself by using a simple principle. Whatever is there, we're going to do the opposite. So we have minus 3 affecting this variable. How can we transfer it to the other side? By adding 3. So step 1 doesn't change. Add 3 to both sides. How do you write it? That is how you state it there. So you're going to end up with x minus 3 plus 3 is greater than 4 plus 3. What are you going to do next? Which is step 2. Simplify. After you simplify, what you're going to end up with? X is greater than 7. How do you know? Of course, minus 3 plus 3 is 0. And 0 plus x gives me x. And 4 plus 3 gives me 7. That's my solution. What are you going to do next? You're going to just represent your solution as a solution set. That is it. Using set builder notation. Again, if you didn't get it the first time when I read it, or the second time, let me read it a third time. This is simply saying the set of all x's such that x is greater than 7. And what are we going to do next? We're going to represent our solution set on a number line. Again, it is just to decide whether you're going to use a closed circle or an open circle. But how do I know when to use a closed circle or when to use an open circle? Let me show you a simple trick. If there is no line underneath the sign, you always use an open circle. So the first thing we're going to look for is 7. 7 is right here on our number line. So we're going to put an open circle above the stroke that represents 7, like that. The next thing that we need to do is to decide which direction the arrow should go. Go back and reread if you didn't remember. You just said that x is greater than 7. So let's look at the number line and observe some values that are greater than 7. Is 7 greater than 7? No. Is 6 greater than 7? No. Is 8 greater than 7? Yes. Is 9 greater than 7? Yes. Is 10 greater than 7? Yes. That means, notice I'm going towards the right. That means the arrow should be drawn towards the right. Those are all the values that represents x is greater than 7. And that's it. It is that simple. Nothing hard, nothing difficult. Let's look at our final example. So our final example is x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 7. Right? Step 1, we're going to do what? Add 2 to both sides. How do you write that? That is how you would state it in your book. X minus 2 plus 2 is greater than or equal to 7 plus 2. Step 2, what are you going to do? Simplify. After you simplify, what would you end up with? X is greater than or equal to 9. Because what? Again, minus 2 plus 2, 0. 0 plus x, x. 7 plus 2, that's 9. And then what are you going to do next? You're going to represent your solution as a solution set. And that's it there. All right? And then the last part, we're going to represent our solution on a number line. So let me just talk you through that process really quickly again. Now, we need to decide again whether we're going to use an open circle or a shaded circle. All right? Again, if we look at the sign, we notice there's a line underneath it. We should use a closed circle. So we need to locate 9 on our number line. And this is 9 here. And put a shaded circle like that. And then the arrow, it says x is greater than or equal to 9. Is 9 equal to 9? Yes. Is 10 equal to 9? No, but it is greater than 9. So that means that's the direction we are going towards the right. That's the direction in which we should draw the arrow, right? This direction there. 1 second.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, me notice when the arrow go to the right, sir, it's like the sign, the greater than sign, it kind of make like one arrow, sir, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
To
but
fully
not really.
understand the sign, just remember this. The larger part of the sign always turn to the larger number. The smaller part of the sign always turn to the smallest number. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that is what you're looking for. If the larger part turn to it, so this, notice here, the larger part is turned to x, so you say x is greater than or equal to 9. And the difference between the closed circle and the open circle is saying over here in example 3 that 7 is not a part of my solution. But over here, the shaded circle is saying 9 is a part of my solution. So that's the difference between using an open circle and a closed circle. Everybody clear? Everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
We have 1 minute and 23 seconds. So guess what? Any questions?
Nope.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
So
I haven't.
that means that you're ready to answer a few questions for me. So guess what?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Long time
Solve these questions for me quickly. See how well you can screenshot it because you only have less than 30 seconds. And in the meantime, you're going to rejoin because I'm going to start the next session quickly while you complete those activities as quickly as possible. You have just a minute to complete each question. Say 6 questions, 6 minutes maximum.